Quick question before we start. If your coworker asks you to work on your day off, what's the first word that comes out of your mouth? If your brain goes straight to sorry, this episode is for you. Hey everyone, welcome to Speak Like a Native. I'm Maya.
And I'm Leo. Today we're talking about boundaries and why Americans keep talking about them.
Exactly. By the end of this episode, you'll know how to say no without feeling rude, without lying, and without apologizing 10 times.
Oh, I need that. I've said sorry so many times when I didn't even do anything wrong.
You are not alone, Leo. That's exactly how most learners feel. In many cultures, saying no directly feels like breaking the relationship. But in American culture, there's a different script. And today we're going to decode it.
So what's the big expression?
Today's key expression is, that doesn't work for me. But before we get there, let's start with a bigger idea. Set boundaries.
Boundaries. I hear this word everywhere in American TV shows, podcasts, and social media. Is it just a fancy way to say no?
It's more than that. Think of a boundary as a fence around your time, energy, and feelings. You're not pushing people away. You're just deciding what is okay and what is not okay for you. In everyday English, to set a boundary means to tell someone clearly what you will or will not accept.
Okay, so give me a real-life example.
Sure. Imagine your coworker keeps sending you work messages at midnight. You can set a boundary by saying, I don't check work messages after 8 p.m., but I'll reply first thing in the morning. You're not arguing, you're just stating your limit.
It's surprisingly calm.
Another example. Your friend wants to complain about the same problem for the 5th time this week. You can say, I care about you, but I don't have the energy for this conversation right now. That's a boundary.
Oh, that one's hard for me. I usually just listen until I feel completely exhausted.
Many learners feel that same pressure, especially if you come from a culture that values group harmony. You might think listening forever is being kind. But in American culture, saying your limit early is actually a form of respect. It keeps the friendship healthy.
So setting a boundary can actually save the friendship?
Yes. Because when you don't set one, you might secretly become resentful, and one day you explode. The other person is confused and says, I thought you were fine with it. This is why Americans talk about boundaries so much.
That makes sense. So how do I say it without sounding harsh?
Good question. That's where our key phrase comes in. Now here's the part that surprises most people. That doesn't work for me is one of the most useful, mature, and polite ways to say no in American English.
Wait, really? If someone invites me to a party, I just say that doesn't work for me? That sounds a little cold.
I know it looks cold on paper, but with a friendly tone, it's clean and confident. It says no without giving a long excuse. And in American culture, a short, clear no is often respected more than a long, shaky maybe.
Can you show me?
Sure. Imagine your friend says, we're renting a cabin this weekend. Want to come? You don't want to go, but you don't want to hurt their feelings. You can say, that doesn't work for me this weekend, but have fun.
Oh, I see. You're not saying the event is bad. You're saying it doesn't fit your schedule or situation.
Exactly. Another example. Your coworker says, can you take the 7 a.m. meeting with the client? You're not a morning person. You can say, 7 a.m. doesn't work for me. Could we do 9:30 instead?
I like that. It sounds professional.
It is. And notice, no apology, no fake excuse. You give a piece of information and offer an alternative.
But what about close friends or family? Is it ever too direct for them?
Great question. With close people, you can warm it up. For example, thanks for thinking of me. That doesn't work for me, but let's grab coffee next week. Or a softer version, that's not going to work for me, but I really appreciate you asking.
So the phrase is a tool. I can adjust the temperature.
Exactly. The words stay clear, but your tone and the little add-ons make it warm.
Okay, let me try. My neighbor wants to borrow my car on Sunday. I say, I'm so sorry, I'm not sure, maybe next week?
Ha 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 ha. Leo, you just made the exact mistake most learners make. You started with, I'm so sorry, and ended with, maybe. That's not a boundary. That's a door left halfway open.
I know. It's so hard to shake that habit.
Let's break it. The phrase you actually want is, that doesn't work for me. If you want to add a reason, keep it short. I need my car that day, but you don't owe anyone a huge story.
So I'm sorry is not necessary?
Right. In American English, over-apologizing can confuse people. If you say "I'm sorry" before saying no, it sounds like you did something wrong. But protecting your time is not wrong.
That's a big mindset shift.
Now, let me mention some common mistakes from different language backgrounds, because I see clear patterns. Spanish speakers sometimes try to soften rejection by saying "it's not possible" or "I prefer no." That can sound a little formal or distant in English. A cleaner option is "that doesn't work for me."
What about Chinese speakers, like me?
Chinese speakers often say "maybe next time" or "let's see" to be polite. But in the United States, that can sound like a yes. The other person might follow up again and again. That's why a clear but kind phrase is actually more polite in American culture.
That explains so many awkward follow-up texts.
Right, Arabic speakers sometimes give a warm explanation with many reassurances. That's beautiful, but in a busy American workplace, it can feel long. A short phrase with a smile works better.
So the rule is, be clear first, warm later.
Yes. And now we need to add one more layer: emotional boundary. This is the one most learners don't see coming.
Emotional boundary? That sounds like therapy language. What does it mean?
It's about protecting your feelings and your private life, not just your schedule. For example, in the United States, asking about someone's salary, weight, age, or marriage plans can be considered too personal. So if a coworker asks, "How much money do you make?" you can set an emotional boundary by saying, "I'd rather not talk about my salary."
That's so direct. In my culture, people ask that all the time.
I know. And in the US, it can feel invasive. Here's another example. A relative asks, "When are you going to get married?" That's common in many cultures. You can say, "I appreciate you caring, but I'm not comfortable talking about that right now." Or simply, worsens, and that's a little personal.
Would that sound rude?
Not if you say it with a smile and offer to change the subject. Americans use phrases like "I'd rather not discuss that" or "I'm not comfortable with that question." These are emotional boundaries.
So it's not just about time and tasks, it's about feelings too.
Exactly. Another example. Your friend keeps asking for details about your relationship problems, and you don't want to share. You can say, "Honestly, I'd rather keep that private for now." That is a complete sentence. You don't need to justify it.
That's so good. I always thought I had to explain myself.
That's the cultural gap. In many collectivist cultures, not explaining can feel rude. But in American culture, a simple, calm boundary is healthy. It's seen as knowing yourself and respecting the relationship. Let me give you a clearer picture. Imagine you're at a family dinner. Your aunt asks, "When are you going to have kids?" In many countries, this is normal. In the US, many people would find that too personal. If you don't want to discuss it, you can smile and say, "That's a personal question. Let's talk about your new house instead." You've set an emotional boundary and redirected the conversation.
So redirecting is part of the skill?
Yes. A boundary often works best when you pair it with a new topic. It's like closing a door and opening a window. For example, if someone asks, "Why didn't you come to my party?" you could say, "That time didn't work for me, but tell me how it went." You've answered without over-explaining and showed you care.
Okay, but why are Americans so obsessed with talking about boundaries? It's everywhere. TV shows, social media, self-help books, even workplace trainings.
Great question. Let's decode the culture. In the US, there's a strong value on individualism. Your needs matter. Plus, in recent decades, ideas from psychology and therapy went mainstream. People started using words like trauma, toxic, and boundaries in everyday conversation.
So it came from psychology?
Yes, therapists taught clients that setting limits is part of self-respect. Then social media turned "set your boundaries" into a popular life tip. Now many Americans believe that if you don't set boundaries, you're letting people take advantage of you.
Interesting. So saying no is a form of self-care?
Exactly. But there's a balance. A boundary without kindness can sound cold. The magic is clear plus warm. For example, "I can't take that on, but I want to help in another way" is boundary plus care.
I love that formula.
Let's do a real-life scenario to make it stick. Imagine it's 5:15 p.m. on a Friday. You're packing your bag. Your boss walks by and says, "Can you stay late tonight?" Most learners freeze. They might say, sorry, yes, okay, here's the native sounding version. I can't tonight, but I can come in early Monday. No apology needed.
That feels so much more powerful.
And if a friend asks at a party, you want to come to my cousin's wedding? You can say, that doesn't work for me, but I'd love to see the photos. You've said no without damaging the friendship.
Because you replaced a long excuse with a short boundary and a little warmth.
Exactly. Now, here's a common error I want you to watch for. Don't say that's not working for me in the present continuous. For a schedule conflict, it's much more natural to say that doesn't work for me, or that's not going to work for me.
Oh, I would have used the continuous form by accident.
Many learners do, but English speakers usually keep it in the simple present or with going to when it's about a future event. So tonight doesn't work for me is better than tonight is not working for me.
Good to know. By the way, is it put boundaries or make boundaries?
Great question. The natural collocation is set boundaries. You might also hear establish boundaries in formal contexts, but set is the everyday word. So you set a boundary, you set a limit. Don't say put a boundary.
That helps a lot. One more. Some learners from Asian language backgrounds add, I'm afraid to soften a no. Is that okay?
It can be polite, but if you use it every time, it can sound formal. I'm afraid I can't is great in a formal email. In casual American English, that doesn't work for me. Feels more relaxed.
So context matters.
Exactly. In a formal email, I'm afraid I won't be able to attend is perfect. In casual talk, that doesn't work for me is more natural.
This is really useful. If this is helping, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell. We drop new episodes daily, culture expressions, and real English. And now, let's do a quick challenge.
I'll say a situation. You respond with a boundary phrase, and you at home try to say your answer out loud. Number 1, your neighbor asks you to watch their dog for a whole week for free.
That doesn't work for me. I'm not going to be around.
Nice. Number 2, a coworker asks how much money you make.
I'd rather not talk about my salary.
Excellent. Number 3, a friend wants to call you every night at midnight, but you're sleeping.
Midnight doesn't work for me. I can talk earlier in the evening.
Perfect. Here's one more. A friend asks you to lend them $500. You don't lend money.
I don't lend money, but I'm happy to help you look over your budget.
That's beautiful. That's boundary plus care. You've got it. See how those answers are clear but not aggressive?
They feel so much better than my old, sorry, maybe next time.
Exactly. Let's recap. To set a boundary means to decide and communicate what's okay for you. The phrase that doesn't work for me is your friendly but clear way to say no. And an emotional boundary protects your private life and feelings with phrases like, I'd rather not talk about that.
And today's rule?
Today's rule, say what works for you. For everything else, try that doesn't work for me.
I'll remember that. Thanks, Maya.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Keep practicing, and we'll see you next time on Speak Like a Native.